ball swinging in, and it's a fair ball, and Wayzata wins it. Tampa Park back to state for the third straight year.
Welcome to Sports Jam. I'm John Jacobson.
And I'm Jay Wilcox. This week on the show, meet a Totino-Grace wrestler who is ranked nationally in our Sports Jam Spotlight, and we'll talk gymnastics with the Wayzata Trojans.
And we'll get started with a couple of big matchups in boys basketball. Park Center and Osseo have had some memorable games over the years, including last season when they met for the Section 5 4A title. A talented and experienced Park Center squad won round one this season. The teams met for a second time at Osseo Friday. Highlights from this one, Dane Danger gets triple teamed here, still manages to get the shot up and in. Park Center's up 6-2 early. Off a missed three from the corner, Danger corrals the rebound, feeds to Tavius Frierson, he scores and is fouled. Pirates lead by 9. But Osseo chips away. Cornell Richardson with a nice drive to the basket to score 2 of his 16 first half points. And then late in the half, great passing leads to an open 3 from the corner for Terrence Waits. And the Orioles lead. Pirates are up 32-30. The Orioles lead the Pirates 32-30 at halftime. Second half, Park Center retakes the lead. Joshua Brown with a 3 puts the Pirates up by 1. And then watch this play. PC in transition. Frierson sets up Danger for the huge dunk. Park Center leads by 4. Dangers with 23 points in the game. The Orioles don't go away. Bernardo Moria with a catch-and-shoot three-pointer ties the game at 45 with 8 minutes to play. But Osseo can't pull ahead. Emmanuel Tamba drives into the lane and a nice finish by the Pirates senior for 2. Osseo makes a 3 at the buzzer to get the final score down to 1. Pirates win 60-59. They're now 15-1.
Two of the most storied programs in Minnesota boys basketball renewed their rivalry as Hopkins, rated number 1 in Class 4A, hosted Minneapolis North. The team ranks 2nd in 2A. The Royals looking for their 16th win of the season as they hosted the Polars. First half, and Andy Stafford hits a jumper from the baseline. The senior scores 11 points in the game. Zeke Naji has a huge night. Nice footwork by the big man in the lane to free himself for a shot, and the Royals lead it by 6. At the other end of the floor, check out a great block shot by Hopkins number 21, Andre Gray, swatting away Willie Wilson's shot. But the Polars come back strong. Omar Brown steals the ball and sets up Eli Campbell for an open 3 from the corner. North leads it by 5. Then a good drive by Wilson to get to the basket and lay it in for 2 for North. This game's tied up at 38 all on halftime. But Hopkins pulls away in the second half. Kerwin Walton hits a 3 for the Royals. He scores 17 on the night. And North can't stop Naji. He rebounds a missed shot by Jalen Deering on this possession and puts back in 2 of his game-high 36. Hopkins wins 84-66. The Royals host Wayzata on Friday. The Brooklyn Center boys have had some ups and downs this season. They lost another player to Minnesota Prep Academy last week, but came out with a strong performance in a tri-metro game against St. Agnes. The Centaurs take charge early. Maximus Wilson steals the pass and scores for a 9-2 lead. The 8th grader scores 13 in the first half, 15 total. Roland Russ gives it up to Danny Yates for the layup as the Centaurs share the ball well at 21-4. Yates catches and shoots the 3 from the wing on his way to a 20-point night off the bench for BC. Russ steals the pass and sends it ahead to Benjamin Wahey. His layup spins around and drops for a 33-10 lead. BC shoots it very well in the first half. Akeem Nelson buries a 3 from the corner, and it's pretty much over at halftime as the Centaurs lead it 47-20. Second half, and Yates sets up Russ for the hoop plus a foul. Brooklyn Center cruises to a 76-41 win.
In Lake Conference gymnastics, Wayzata finished as runner-up to Edina in conference dual meets this season. The Trojans met a much-improved Hopkins team last week. I'll start with highlights from the vault. Wayzata senior Lauren Osterberg. She scores a 9.225 on this vault. Finishes second in the meet to teammate Grace Traynor. Hopkins' Kaya Pratt lands with the Royals' top score on the vault. He scores an 8.6 for a Royals team that earlier this season recorded their best team score in 7 years. Grace Trainer, great bars worker, and she scores a 9.55 and wins the event. She also won the all-around title for the meet. Simone Reglos has been good all season for the Royals. The all-arounder's best event this night is the balance beam, where she scores a 9.45, Hopkins' best score. Izzy and Grace Trainer finished with the top two scores in the meet on the floor exercise. This is Izzy Trainer, who scored a 9.35. Wayzata with 141.325 to win the meet. And we'll hear from the Trojans later in the show. Also in gymnastics, Maple Grove hosting Coon Rapids. This is Sasha Thompson on the beam for Maple Grove. It's the backflip there, scores a 9.15. Nadia Abbott also has a good routine on the beam for the Crimson, scoring a 9.25. On floor exercise, Emma Ungard scores a 9.175 as the Crimson win the meet, scoring 143.650.
And John, a big meet Thursday as the Crimson face Champlin Park. Weather permitting, of course. We have to say that for pretty much every game this week.
Yeah, on Thursday, two top teams in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Should be a good one. Next up, action from the weekend. Hockey, plus swimming and wrestling when Sports Jam continues.
Welcome back to the show. We're to the final week of the regular season for most teams in girls hockey.
The Wayzata girls are hoping to make some noise in a tough section. Hopkins Park hoping to hang with the Trojans in a late conference game. Wayzata's Maddie McCollins looks like she might pass, but she fires a shot past Leah Bosch for a 1-0 lead 3 minutes in. 6 minutes later, the Trojans' first shot is blocked. Emily Wisniewski flips it toward the net, and it goes off a defenseman, skated in for a 2-0 Trojans lead. Hopkins Park's Mary Gleason forces a turnover and it leads to a goal for Charlotte Rich in the slot. Royals pull within 2-1 through one period. But it's all Wayzata in the second. Mackenzie Schindler's wrist shot beats Bosch, and it's 3-1 Trojans early in the period. Casey Johnson circles behind the net for the wraparound goal. Wayzata goes on to win this game over Hopkins Park 7-2.
Champlin Park Coon Rapids is zeroing in on repeating as West Division champion of the Northwest Suburban. They stepped out of conference play as they hosted Stillwater. Early in the first period, and CPCR's Mackenzie Baker skates through the neutral zone, uses the D as a screen, and fires a shot into the Ponies' net. It's 1-0 just 4 minutes into the contest. Second period, and Anna Bescalo passes out front to Haley Williams for the shot and goal. Champlin Park Coon Rapids goes up 2-0. Later in the period, with the score 2-1, a bad turnover by the Ponies leads directly to Delaney Johnson getting the puck and scoring. Champlin Park Coon Rapids leads it 3-1. Less than a minute later, they get another. Baker over to Molly Terabeza, who flips the puck past the goalie and in, and it's 4-1 through two periods. And the Bluebirds get the only goal of the third when number 77, Haley Williams, gets credit for the rebound goal. 5-1 is the final. The Champlin Park boys hockey team enters the week tied for first with Totino-Grace in the NWSC West. The Rebels aim for a win Saturday as they played host to Irondale. The Knights are awarded a penalty shot in the first period, but the puck squirts away from Nate Foley and he never gets a shot off. Second period, and the Rebels on a power play. Roy Johnson's shot is stopped, but Tanner Thompson slams the rebound home to give Champlin Park a 1-0 lead. About 4 minutes later, it's a 2-on-1 rush. Jack Bertram's shot is saved, but Thompson nets another rebound goal. The sophomore with a big afternoon for the Rebels. It's 2-0 after 2. Brendan Boynton makes that lead stand up with 29 saves as Champlin Park wins it 2-0.
Osseo's boys hockey team is looking to break a 5-game losing streak when they hosted Spring Lake Park in a Northwest Suburban Conference game. The Orioles' second game of the season against Spring Lake Park. First period, the Orioles get a couple of quick shots on goal. The puck comes out to Mitchell Meyer. He shoots and scores, and it's 1-0 Osseo. A few minutes later, Meyer gets a shot on net, and the rebound ends up on the stick of Daniel Ellingson, and he scores. Osseo leads 2-0 just 8 minutes into the game. Nice moment between periods when several dozen former Osseo players and coaches were recognized on the 60th anniversary celebration of Osseo hockey. Back to the game highlights. The Orioles' Cade Westman, great pass onto the stick of Jack Pojar. Osseo's got a 4-2 lead midway through the third period. But the Panthers rally to tie. The pass comes to number 16, Zach Zemlicka. He tries to set up Sam Fritz, but it's Zemlicka who scores late for Spring Lake Park. No scoring in overtime. This one ends in a 4-4 tie.
The Maple Grove boys hockey team has been in the top 10 for most of the season. The Crimson faced another ranked team as they skated against Bill Lechner and Hill Murray. On a 4-on-3 power play, Hill Murray's Joe Palatichuk sneaks a wrist shot through. The Pioneers are up 1-0 after 1. Maple Grove, though, gets the momentum in the second. Ethan Elias threads a shot through traffic from the circle. The Crimson pull within 2-1. And then it's a great move for Kyle Kukkonen. He sends it over to Cal Thomas, and his shot under the crossbar and in. Maple Grove ties it at 2-2. And watch this one. The skate of Hill Murray's Axel Begley shatters the plexiglass after he absorbs a check from Sam Jacobs. Delays the game for about 15 minutes. After play resumes, the Pioneers turn it over, and it leads to the go-ahead goal as Trevor Kukkonen buries it for a 3-2 lead. Maple Grove adds an empty netter late, and they win at 4-2.
In boys swimming, Maple Grove is having a very strong season. They look to continue their momentum as they hosted Osseo in their final home dual meet of the season. Great finish in the 200 medley relay. Maple Grove's Dan Warloba and Osseo's Sam Coles battle the finish. Warloba gets the win for the Crimson. 200 freestyle. Osseo's Coy Farm opens up a big lead. He easily wins with a time of 154.76 seconds. 200 individual medleys, another win for the Orioles. Win Honnold clocks a time of 2:10.8. In the 50 freestyle, Maple Grove's Garrett Rickles takes the sprint with a winning time of 25.04 seconds. Maple Grove stays unbeaten with a 95-75 victory. At the state True Team boys swim meet over the weekend, Lake Conference teams take the top 3 spots in Class AA. Edina is first, followed by Minnetonka and Wayzata. The Trojans won the 200 medley relay and the 400 free relay. Wayzata's Casey Stowe won the 200 IM and the 100 backstroke, where he set a meet record. And congratulations to Breck Blake. The Bear Stags won the Class A meet ahead of St. Thomas Academy in Northfield. Breck Blake won the 200 medley relay and 400 free relay. Spencer Pruitt won the 200 freestyle.
In prep wrestling, Totino-Grace is having a strong season. The Eagles hosted Armstrong as part of a quad meet. At 120 pounds, Michael Lozier for Grace and Asen Meyer for Armstrong. Lozier wraps up Meyer and gets the pin for the Eagles. Grace also gets a pin at 126 as Jake Svihel wins by fall over Devin Ankeny. We'll meet Svihel later in our Sports Jam Spotlight. Armstrong gets a win at 138 as Jalen Young takes a 7-4 decision over Eric Spade. 152 is a good one. Armstrong's Ben Meninga scores the only points of the match with this reversal. He wins 2-0 over Anthony Aarons. At 182, Grace's Bear Bowman with the double leg takedown on Levi Ellens. Bowman wins it 13-5. At 220, Grace's Joe Hinkle rolls over James Ohm. Hinkle gets 3 points for the near fall, and he wins by technical fall. Totino-Grace wins over Armstrong 57-12. And we're closing in on section time in this sport as well, John.
Yeah, won't be long. Speaking of wrestling, meet one of the state's best grapplers, Jake Svihel of Totino-Grace, next in our Sports Jam Spotlight. Totino-Grace wrestler Jake Svihel is ranked #1 in the state for Class 2A at 120 pounds and #5 on the pound-for-pound list. The senior is a 3-time state runner-up and looking forward to getting one more shot at that elusive state title. Here's Jason Melillo with our Sports Jam Spotlight.
32 pounds.
Jake Svihel doesn't waste time on the wrestling mat.
A quick shot by Svihel.
Well, that didn't take long.
No, 3-second takedown.
I'm just like a high-pace offensive wrestler. I don't like to wrestle on the defense. It just kind of, I don't feel like myself.
It's a style that's serving him well. Svihel is undefeated this season and ranked #1 in the state at 120 pounds.
When you're pushing the pace that much, you're used to wrestling like that, so your conditioning is most likely better than every other. You have an advantage over conditioning on every other wrestler you wrestle.
Svihel started wrestling at 5 years old, often under the watchful eye of his father Doug. who's been the head coach at Totino-Grace for 30 years. It wasn't always easy for Doug to get his young son to go to practice.
When I was little, I dread going to practice. Like once I got there, it was fun, but like I didn't want to go. And
when their buddies are out there playing in the yard or doing something else, you know, I don't really want. They got to stop and go to the practice. You know, they don't always like that. And then they get there and they're fine. So you got to grab them by the earlobe once in a while.
I'm kind of glad he did, because now it kind of installed in myself where I'm like, even if I don't want to go, it's like 90% of the time you don't want to end up going to do something. You got to go and do it though. So that's what's going to help me become a better wrestler. So
I've been very fortunate. It's been ingrained in him, and it's in him to wrestle hard and practice hard no matter what. I mean, he does not take shortcuts, and he goes out there and he trains hard. He trains, you know, he's training as hard as, if not harder than anybody.
Svihel wrestles year-round and is ranked in the top 10 nationally by several polls. Last year, Svihel won the USA Wrestling Folk-Style National title at 120 pounds, and the experience of facing elite opponents has been invaluable to Svihel's progression.
I feel like I wrestle better when I'm wrestling a tough wrestler, and I get more out of it. And to me, it's not about it is about winning, but if I lose, I don't know, it's more of like a learning experience. So my goal isn't to win every match, my goal is to get better every match.
Kind of the motto is, I got to find you a loss, you know, and we've been able to find him a loss here and there, but, you know, the thing about it is that he learns then to take it as any other opponent. He just wants to wrestle the best. He just wants to wrestle as hard and score points, and I think that's what, you know, he doesn't get nervous when it comes to the big stage.
For everything Svihel has accomplished as a high school wrestler, a state title has eluded him. Svihel has lost in the championship match 3 years in a row.
Last year was probably the toughest year, because it was like my third time I was winning in the match. I blew the lead. He's a great wrestler. Now it just kind of drives me. I'm not like going into the season, I'm not hyper focused on the state title. It's a lot easier on me. I think it takes off a lot more pressure. So I don't feel like people might think that I've got a lot of pressure going into my fourth state title, but I don't have as much pressure because I'm a lot more lighthearted on myself this year.
State title or not, Jake Svihel's time as a high school wrestler will come to an end soon, but his journey as a student athlete will continue at the University of Wyoming.
I had a lot of different schools to choose between, and I liked them all. But I think the main thing was the coaches. I liked the coaches right off the bat. They seemed really transparent with me. All the people that I met, they seemed like they were hardworking dudes. Their minds were all on the same path. They all had the same goal.
Jake wrestled and won 5 matches last week, including earning his 200th career win. We'll talk gymnastics with the Wayzata Trojans when Sports Jam continues. Welcome back to Sports Jam. The Wayzata gymnastics team, one of the best in the area, will compete in the upcoming Section 5AA gymnastics meet in February. That's at Irondale High School. 2 of their senior captains have joined us now on the show, along with head coach Carly Holden and Lauren Osterberg. Tell me about this season and how it's gone for you and your team.
We've really worked really hard this season. We started out a little bit rough, but we've come pretty far in getting new skills and perfecting the old ones.
What's improved the most, would you say, for your team from that first practice maybe to where you're at right now near the end of January?
Probably execution has gone up a lot, and also team chemistry. That helps a lot with competition and getting higher scores.
It was senior night tonight. What was that like for you?
It was really fun just to look back at the 4 years I've been on the team and how far we've all come.
You've got just a few meets left. You got JV conference and then the luau meet at Breck and then that section meet. What can still improve, both for you individually and for your teammates?
We can still improve a lot on execution, and a couple people can still probably get a few new skills into.
Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Abby McNosky is another captain and a senior for the Wayzata Trojans. Tell me about your season and being with these girls day in and day out in the gym, what it's like.
It's like having a second family. We spend 2 to 2.5 hours every day together. Every day we grow stronger as a team, we work hard, and we just become a family.
How much do you enjoy meet day? Is it nerve-wracking? Do you have fun, or what's it like compared to a practice day for you?
I love meet days. It's where we all come together and show how much work we've put into the season so far, and we can reflect on how we've done and what we need to still improve on. I love meet days. The only nerve-wracking part is waiting for that salute, but once you salute and stick your routine, it's just back to having fun. It's just the nerve-wracking part's doing the routine.
I mentioned at the top that section meets are coming up in February. You've got some really good teams in your section. Do you like having tough competition like that you know you have to beat some really good gymnasts to earn spots at state?
It can be stressful, but it's just shows us that we need to push ourselves in practice to make sure that we can make it to state, which is a very important goal of ours.
Abby, good luck the rest of the season for you.
Thank you.
Coach Holden, you were telling me about this team and how hard they've worked, and each team's a little bit different. What's been the kind of personality of this group?
They're a family. It's the connection that they have and how they are so supportive of one another. This is the best it's been in my 9 years of coaching. So
we've got just a few meets left, the JV conference and the luau meet and then the section meet. Let me ask you about the luau meet. Is that kind of a fun one for the girls to get themselves ready, but still have a little more fun because it's got that theme and everything and we've been a part of that meet for a long time.
Yes, that meet is definitely our favorite. It's a good way to kind of end the season on. We also look at it as a precursor to sections with Champlain Park and Maple Grove being there, so we kind of see where all of us stack up against one another and just kind of see, what we can expect come sections.
You were telling me before the meet tonight here against Hopkins that you feel your team's in a good spot as far as where you want to be. You still feel the way you're kind of growing toward sections?
Yes, you definitely don't want to peak in the middle of the season, and I think we've kind of had that. We've been a little bit up and down, but you expect to go down after the holidays, and now we're kind of starting to go back up again, so we are right where we should be.
Great season so far. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll take a break and wrap up the show. First, here's a look at our plays of the week.
Drive down the middle and finish by Yates again. He has been unstoppable. Oh my goodness, the glass shatters.
Here she goes.
And a reminder again of our new feature here on Sports Jam. It's our CCX Sports Play of the Week. Well, 4 new plays each week to vote on. Go to our website at ccxmedia.org. Go to the Play of the Week page under the Sports tab and vote for your favorite play. Next week, we'll reveal this week's winner and have 4 new plays to watch. And here's last week's winner. In Wayzata's girls basketball win over Maple Grove, Callie Tyson scored the transition basket, assisted by Olivia Arnebeck. It's all set up on a steal by Mimi Schrader, as the Trojans remain undefeated on the season. Remember, go to our website and vote for this week's Plays of the Week. We'll announce the next winner on our February 4th program. We'll be back to wrap up the show in a moment.
Looking for local? Even more local? CCX Media gives you the option to connect with your community on multiple levels. CCX Create welcomes you, community residents, to connect and experience television in an exciting way. The free TV classes we offer will have you on your way to creating TV, and our wide variety of content can be watched at home or on the go. Connect to what's happening in your community. Visit ccxmedia.org.
And that will do it for this week's show.
And we'll see what this week's cold weather brings us for games. We'll see you next time here on Sports Jam.